Good afternoon. Please sit down.
The Honorable Minister of Transportation, Mua'zu Sambo. A few questions, sir. Honorable Minister, sir.
I am proud to be in your midst this afternoon and to confirm to you that government has secured the release of the remaining 23 kidnapped victims of the March 28, 2022 train attack by bandits who planted IEDs on the tracks that led to the derailment of the train and subsequent attack on the 362 passengers and 29 crew on board the train, made up of NRC staff, security and third-party service providers. After the unfortunate incident, some people lost their lives while releases were secured at various intervals till the 5th of October 2022, when the last batch of 23 victims were returned safe. I'm grateful to Almighty God, to Mr. President, President Muhammadu Buhari, the Nigerian military and other security agencies for the various roles leading to this day. I am pleased at the achievement, I'm proud at the achievement of this great feat of securing the release of the kidnapped victims and reuniting them with their loved ones. This has rekindled the hope and faith of Nigerians in our security agencies. You may recall the government has been fully involved in securing the release of the kidnapped passengers, and for that reason also has suspended commercial train services on that route since March the 20th, 2022. It is now 6 months and 7 days that the commercial train service on the route has been suspended, and it is imperative to also let you know that the reconstruction and repairs of the damaged rail line has since been carried out by Nigerian engineers of the Nigerian Railway Corporation. Since the incident occurred, government has at various times interfaced with the relatives of the kidnapped victims to assure them that government was doing everything at securing the release of their loved ones, and encourage them to remain steadfast and prayerful as government was doing its best to secure the release while avoiding collateral damage. On the 11th of August, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, received at the Presidential Villa relatives of the victims, and further assurances were given that government was working assiduously to secure the release of the remaining hostages. Before this visit, I have also, in my capacity as the Minister of Transportation, having just resumed duty a few weeks back, met and addressed the relatives of the kidnapped victims, where I asked them to cooperate with security operatives if the need arises, if the need arose, and assured them that their loved ones that have been kidnapped will be released, as it is paramount to government. Today, the story is different. And like I stated earlier, I am pleased and indeed overjoyed to announce that the remaining set of the kidnapped victims who had remained painfully under solitary conditions in the den of the kidnappers for over 6 months has been released through the gallantry of the Nigerian military and the support of a committee of patriotic Nigerians on the 5th of October 2022. This day will therefore remain memorable in the annals of our country's history. And every person who contributed in any way to the release of the victims has every reason to be happy for contributing to the nation's glory. I must also thank the press for their continued support and pressure on government officials to put in more effort towards the release of the victims, and therefore, to the gentlemen and ladies of the press, I say thank you. Not forgetting my staff that have made remarkable efforts in this struggle for the release of the victims, the Permanent Secretary, the Managing Director, NRC, just to mention a few. this juncture, government is putting more security measures in place in order to avoid future occurrences and ensure that train operations resume in earnest. Thank you for listening, and God bless you all. Mr. Hello. Mr. Oyin Kalu, Miss or Mrs.? Mrs. Oyin Kalu. Forgive my pronunciation. No offense meant. How she wants to know how the kidnapped victims were released, and she also wants to know when train services will resume and the security measures the ministry intends to put in place. Now, I want to be honest with you that matters that involve national security and intelligence are matters that are usually highly... Hello? Doctor, check now, what's happening? Their telephones.
The phone is ringing.
Hello? Now, I haven't mounted the rostrum in a long time. Now, Ms. Kalu, why don't you just switch it off? Like I was saying, in matters that involve national security and intelligence, it is not appropriate to reveal exactly what measures have been taken in order to secure the release of hostages of this nature. Now, there are two things I want you to bear in mind. All through this incident, it is the position of this government that under no circumstances should there be collateral damage. We all know what collateral damage is. In other words, the military and security agencies that have been charged with the responsibility of securing the release of these hostages should not act in a way that will endanger the lives of the same hostages. In other words, don't make sure that no one hostage's life is lost in the process of securing. Hello? In the process, forget about it, please. So, the second thing I want you to realize is that the second thing I want you to know is that there is a committee made up of some retired generals and some retired public officers of high ranking and status who assisted the military and the security agencies throughout the process of securing the release of these hostages. Number three, I want to state categorically that because this government does not support and approve of ransom payment, no kobo was paid in exchange for the release of these 23 hostages. Indeed, for the other ones as well. Now, Mrs. Kalu also wants to know when we intend to resume operations. I have told the press, time without number, that rather than risk the life of one single Nigerian, we will rather stop the rail service. Now that the hostages, and we could not also resume, in all honesty, with a clear conscience, knowing the kind of trauma that both victims and their loved ones were going through, we felt that it was not appropriate to resume rail services. Now, I can tell you we are going to resume very soon. Now, in order to resume rail services, we have to put in place measures that will ensure that going forward, such an incident never ever happens in this country. And so we have a short-term and a long-term plan. I'm going to address the press specifically on this, hopefully next week, mindful of the fact that when it comes to security matters, there are certain categories of people who do not mean well for other people to know exactly what you are doing. But rest assured that the primary responsibility of any government, as enshrined in our Constitution, is the protection of the citizens' life and property. This will continue. This is what this government has always done, and this is what this government will continue to do. The short-term measures will be put in place very, very quickly to enable rail services commence. And beyond a period of 3 months, we will have put in place a sustainable plan that will ensure that our rail lines are safe and secure, and people can travel on them with their minds and hearts assured of safety. I ought to have commenced this briefing by actually explaining to you, in response to the question by Mr. Fubara, as to why the victims were not here today. The intention was for them to be here today. However, there are certain things that have to be done. One, there is need for them to be taken to the hospital to be cared for. And that was done 2 days ago. Immediately they were in the hands of the military and the committee of patriots. They were taken to the NAV hospital and from there to the NDA hospital. They were treated and looked after and made sure that everybody's health was in good condition. And they were also given a replacement of clothing. Because Mr. President happened to be in Kaduna yesterday for the passing out parade, the Nigerian Defense Academy, it provided an opportunity for him to meet with the 23 that were released. And after meeting them, they were reunited with their families. It became obviously difficult to get them back together and bring them here. But as the last time we spoke with their coordinator, they actually have a plan to pay us a visit here. Don't forget, the first day I was resuming duty here, the relatives blocked my entrance and pleaded for government to do everything it could to secure the release of their loved ones. Today they are so happy and overjoyed that they want to come and thank the government through the Ministry of Transportation. So hopefully they will give us a date next week, and when they do, we will also invite the press to come and witness the occasion. I have already answered the question by Francisca regarding ransom or no ransom, so we don't even talk about how much at all. If there are no further questions, I want to use this opportunity to once again thank. You have a question? Let the person who hasn't asked before Carlo asks again.
My name is Amina Aminu.
Poetry?
No, sir.
Sorry, we are on the present. Okay, Aminu, shoot your question.
Royal newspaper.
Royal newspapers.
My question is on the updates of
Ambush. I think it will be better to restrict our questions. You are gentlemen of the press. If you want to ask these questions, you want to interview me on specific progress regarding the job of the ministry outside what has gathered us here today. My SA Media is there, my press director and the deputy director of press are there. They will give you an appointment. That doesn't mean that I will not answer your questions. But I just want to make it clear that it is only fair that we restrict our questions to why we are here. Okay? There's a gentleman, the Kaduna, Kano, and Port Harcourt, Maiduguri rail projects are ongoing. The challenges we have with these two projects is that we are yet to secure the 85% foreign loan component of the two contracts. We have been driving these two projects solely through appropriation, which is part of the 15% that Nigeria is supposed to contribute. Indeed, I can tell you for sure that with respect to the Kaduna-Kano rail, we have paid completely to the contractor the 15% obligation of the federal government. Until we have the 85% component, the projects will have to be continued to be funded through appropriation. The Transportation University Daura ought to have, like you said, commenced academic sessions in September. But there are certain challenges that we faced, just like every other aspect of human endeavor. And some of these challenges are, again, administrative. We are trying to clear them with the National Universities Commission and the Federal Ministry of Education. My friend Ferdinand from Arise News wants to know whether there is any plan to compensate the victims. I honestly have no answer for that question. Thank you.
So that this is a form of trauma that these victims have gone through, including their relatives. So the plans for post-traumatic rehabilitation of the patients and their family members, they still have an open link to the hospital to go through these processes. And this is based on in the location where the victims live. And for this 23, a lot of them are residents in Kaduna. So that is ongoing. Even for the ones who were released earlier, the medical team are in touch with them and they have an open access to the hospital.